Hello, beautiful people, and welcome, to a video on the 3.4 banners for the first half of the patch. Let's start with the best part of it. So the best part is Alhaitham and Yaoyao. Alhaitham, all things considered, should be a solid unit. Decent character to go for. Not that insane if you don't have Nahida, and his teams with Nahida are not really better than Nahida's teams without him. But if you don't have Nahida, like, he's still an on-field Dendro that can be a very nice driver for some teams, and you can also just use him in quicken teams, and he's gonna perform solid. Like, he'll be pretty okay. And then Yaoyao, which I did a pre-release on, who is just looking to be the best 4-star since 3.0, but at the end of the day is still like just a healer, and you can just decide to get her from the lantern right, so you don't actually need to go on this banner to get her. Then you've got like the part, which is Xiao. I also have an Ask the Jeff Xiao edition video that might come out either right before or right after this video. Xiao is overall an okay unit. I'd say that in terms of like value he brings to an account, not as high as Alhaitham. Overall, probably in the lower half when it comes to pull value for an account. He does have some upsides here and there. Overall, kind of just whatever character to have on a banner. Yunjin is not very good. The team where you can play her is you can play her with Yoimiya, and with Yoimiya she's fine. She's not really better than the other alternatives, but she's also not really worse. She's one of the things you can play. And then outside of Yoimiya, she's not actually really good anywhere. I know that a lot of people think that she can be good with Wanderer and with Ayato. The thing about it is, while she can be good with Wanderer, whenever you're in AoE, you'd rather do charge attacks, and then Yunjin is just literally useless. And the thing about Ayato is that if you're actually going for hyper carry Ayato, it's not that great of a team, unless you have like a fuck ton of wailing done for constellations and 5-star weapons on Ayato. And more importantly, you want to get your burst on Ayato, and the amount of ER that you need to get your burst every rotation on Ayato when you have Yunjin is higher than if you were to replace her with someone like Xinyan, who can deal damage, reduce hydro resistance, and generate energy. And so, all in all, most of the time, Yunjin is a downgrade in Ayato's teams. Finally, we have Xinyan. Xinyan is one of, if not arguably the worst unit in the game, and I like her a lot. There's a charm to just being the worst at something, you know? It's like, yeah, I am playing the shittiest unit in the game. So what? What are you gonna do about it? She's got a few things going for her, but she's got a lot more things going against her than for her. Her damage being split between pyro and physical means that, well, if you build her physical, your E's like thing around you and your burst damage over time are basically not doing anything, and you're playing physical, which most of the time is not ideal. And if you play her pyro, your normal attacks and your burst initial hit are not doing much either. You can offset that by using a C6 Bennett, but all in all, like, as much as I like playing this team, right, Xinyan, Bennett, Kazuha, Sangling, and it's a team that can clear, it's a very good example of a team where Xinyan isn't the reason why this team is clearing. Xinyan is doing a decent amount of damage in this team because she's spending a lot of fucking time on field, but if you were to rework the team a little bit and replace Xinyan with someone else that had a different way of working with the team, it would generally just be better. Where it's a team that can perform well, but is comparatively pretty bad, considering the other pieces in there. All in all, Xinyan is not very good to get. And yeah, if you play her as a support, it's just, ugh. Her shield stops applying pyro if it breaks, which means you just can't play her in Virgin as like a Virgin trigger, because your Virgin self damage will destroy your shield, and then you're just like, oh, okay, well, I don't Virgin anymore. It's also the reason why it can be very hard to play her as like a pyro application for Melt Ganyu, even if technically you can, because if your shield breaks and your shield isn't that strong, then you just stop applying, which sucks. And the amount of damage that she gives to physical units through the physical damage that you gain and the physical res shred just isn't enough. Like, the numbers on it are just not good enough. And so, Xinyan's kind of a yikes most of the time, even if I do enjoy playing her. But yeah, so that's kind of does it for the character part of the banner. All in all, I'd say this is slightly below average. It's not too far below average because Yaoyao is a decent unit that isn't too constellation dependent and that people don't have right now, so like this is the first opportunity to get her. But it's also not that great because you can also just get her from Lantern Right, and like I said, she's not really constellation dependent, so it's not like you're gonna need more after that. And then the other units just aren't that great to get. And then we're getting to this. The 5-star part of this is fine. The Light of Foliar Incision is a weapon that's very good for Alhaitham and other sword characters that care about EM. Generally is basically just, I care about EM but not enough to get an EM main stat weapon, which generally is just like a thing. Other than that, because it is a crit stat stick, it's gonna be a fine like vanilla option for basically every sword character that cares about crit stats. But generally, I'd just rather have a Jade Cutter if I could choose between the two. And the other 5-star on the banner, the Jade Wing Spear, is generally one of the worst 5-star polearms to get, because most polearm characters that could use an effect like Jade Cutter snapshot, and they're gonna snapshot before you get all your stacks, so you're just not gonna get all the stacks. Right, if we sort by polearm, it's pretty good on Sino. But other than that, wants 5, wants 5, wants 5, wants 5, has catch, which is just kind of similar in performance to Jade Wing Spear. Snapshots, doesn't really care much for high base attack, and Jade Wing Spear performs very similarly to a Dragon's Bane or Deathmatch. Good on Xiao, wants 5, and has catch. So all in all, Jade Wing Spear is often not that great of an option, and on a lot of characters is just worse than the 4-star alternatives that you could go for. Which makes it a pretty subpar 5-star, like, second weapon to have on a banner. Even on the characters that it's good on Sino, he has a signature that's a lot better, and on Xiao, it's very similar in performance to a weapon that's better overall, while also being signature for someone else in Homa. Which means that, all in all, right, this weapon, good signature, fine, like vanilla stat stick. This weapon, meh. And then finally, we've got the 4-stars, which are probably the worst set of 4-stars that we've had in a while. A Sagbo can be used on Kole and on Diona, but generally Fav is better. And basically anyone else who could use Sagbo, Fav is better. And Fav is given for free in the story quest. And so Sagbo is just not a great weapon to get on an account. The Flute just sucks. Like, it's attack substat with a passive that just does additional physical damage when you attack a bunch, like normal attack a bunch. And it's just not a lot of damage that you get, and it doesn't give you additional stats, so it just kind of sucks. Rain Slasher is like okay on vape units, I guess. It's fine on Diluc, but on units that care about like actually getting high EM for stuff like Hyper Bloom or Burgeon or stuff like that, Blood Tainted Greatsword, the 3-star, gives you more EM. So it's a fucking joke most of the time. Lithic Spear can be fine, but the reality of it is most of the time you don't have enough Leah party members to make it that good. And even when you do, unless you have it at fucking R5, it's not even really better than most of the other options. So it kind of sucks. And then Widsith, which is the best weapon on this, and one of the best catalysts to have, but most of the time, accounts aren't too reliant on hypercarry catalyst users. The good catalyst users that we have often take more of a supportive role, and because of that, often either want Sac Frag, TTDS, or Fav. Like, Sugros wants Sac Frag, Ningguang's not that great, Lisa, TTDS or Fav generally, Barbara, TTDS, Mona, Fav or TTDS, Klee's not that great, Yunfei's not that great, Kokomi TDDS. Yeah, Miko can be good, and Widsith is pretty good on her. Hazo can be, it depends. Nahida, Widsith is fine on her, but Fav is criminally underrated, and it's a fine 4-star option for Wanderer. Like, there are a few characters that like it, but only a few. And that's kind of the biggest weakness that Widsith has. It's a weapon that, like, it can be nice to have, but it's never, like, that great. And looking at the rest of the banner, everything else sucks, basically. So on the 4-star part of it, for the weapon banner, this is one of, if not the worst banner we've ever had. When it comes to the 5-star part, we have an actual good weapon and a fine stat stick, like as a second option. But realistically, I'd say generally just better off not going for weapon banners. And if you are gonna go for a weapon banner, at least try to go for a good one. Maybe get a few favs on the 4-stars so that you can get a bunch of favs for your supports, get some refinements. But yeah, all in all, pretty underwhelming. Weapon banner overall, I would say, is significantly below average, and character banner slightly below average. Pretty disappointed with what we got. In any case, thank you for watching. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jeff77. I have no idea when this video is gonna come out. I'm overworking my editors. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys around. Bye, YouTube.